So let's think one more thing, and if we go to our state manager, okay, we have is crouching, we also have is vaulting and all that. So let's try and sync both is crouching and is vaulting. Okay, is vaulting is going to start complicating things a little bit, so let's start with is crouching first. First of all, we're going to have to pass the bool, of course. So stream send next states is crouching, close it, and then states dot is crouching equals bool stream receive next. Okay, on top of all the other bools. Now let's do a find all references, and we will see where we are setting up the animator value, which will be if state is crouching is over here. Okay, we should now go find the animator though. Is crouching, is not crouching. Let's see. So maybe we are doing this from here. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's go onto our behavior editor, onto our player graph, and let's find all of this. I think it's the animator variable updater, and it updates for the animator if you are aiming or if you are crouching. Let's see if you are crouching. We can't use this now because it's using a bool variable, so that means if the player is crouching, then it's going to force everybody to crouch, so that's really not what we want. So I'm going to go on to the action we did for updating the is aiming, and it should be over here, update aiming. Okay, and I can add this right over here. Set bool is, I guess we don't have the hash, so let's do it. Let's do a new hash. Crouching is crouching. Save it. Okay, close that. Is crouching states is crouching, and let's put it above just for good measure. Okay, so this actually now will sync crouching, but vaulting is another beast of its own, because as you can see, we first check for monitoring vaulting, and we're actually changing the state for vaulting, and then it does vault movement. Of course, obviously we can't use this over the network because this affects our position and we want syncing through the network, all of that. Okay, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to say, we're going to set up a few things. First of all, let's switch to client graph. Okay, and I'm going to create a new state, and let's find our states. We have our data, states, and I'm going to create a new state called vaulting client. I'm just going to drag and drop this in the state over here, and all I want is none of these actions to play when I'm in this action. But when this action is complete, it's going to go back in here. But how do we do this? We're going to first go onto our state manager and add a new bool over here, which is going to be set public bool is, or actually vaulting flag. On the multiplayer listener then, we're going to be sending a stream send next states dot vaulting flag, or maybe let's check where is vaulting gets turned to false. Okay, so vaulting is set to false over here. Okay, this kind of simplifies things, because we can say vaulting flag. Okay, let's leave the vaulting flag, but we're going to sync the is vaulting. And actually, let's move this on the top over here. And we can start filtering things. For example, if you're vaulting, you're definitely not aiming, and you're definitely not crouching. So let's say if not states dot is vaulting, don't pass any of these. And yeah, okay, if you're not vaulting, then pass all of this. And you know what, I think we could just escape through all of this and leave them in here. And similarly, we can say states dot is vaulting equals bool stream dot receive next. And if states dot is vaulting else receive all of these. But we should be resetting these values. So is crouching, set it to false. Is aiming, set it to false. States is reloading, false. Okay, and states dot movement values horizontal 0, states dot movement values vertical 0, and states dot move amount movement values move amount equals 0. And we can just leave the aim position like that, nobody cares. And actually, because the aim position is depending on the mouse, I think we should be syncing it regardless if we're vaulting or not. So let's copy that. Okay, awesome. So the thing is now that we could do the same thing as we're doing over here for this, but I'd rather keep anything that has to do with us to be resetted from any other script and not from the multiplayer listener, so we get consistent behavior through our controller if we are using it either for single player or multiplayer and stuff like that. Okay, so what we do need to take into account now is we actually will have to play the animation, which means if states dot is the vaulting flag, if it's not true, set it to true and play the animation. Let's check the vaulting action we have, or the condition, I think. Monitor vaulting. Okay, and vault walk clip length. Okay, animation length. Crossfade, state hashes, vault walk. Okay, we're only playing this right now, so it's enough. But anyway, back to the where is it? Multiplayer listener. Play this from let's see, we have, yeah, it's called states. Okay, and we should be changing the action, well, the state. So state, I'm going to say and call this Vault client. And states dot current state Vault client. Okay, for Vault client, then on the else of this, if the vaulting flag is true, then that means we need to change back our current state to the client state. Okay, and of course set the states.vaulting flag to false. We of course don't need to play any animation. So yeah, I think this will actually play normally for vaulting. So let's do a build and try it. Actually, before we try it, we have one issue. We still have the hand prediction. We don't use it in here. And yeah, because of that, then we need to add this, and we need to add it back again. And checking over here, okay, we receive position, rotation, and all of that. Awesome. Save, and now let's do a build. And actually, no, let's not do a build. Let's first fix the data we need. On to the multiplayer controller, on the multiplayer listener, we now need to add the Vault client. Okay, so that's done. And yeah, now let's do a build. So, okay, we're only checking for the vaulting animations and stuff like that. So this furniture or whatever, it's not really the best one. We could test this on. Okay, but it does play. I think there is a few jumps, and that has to do with the collisions, if we have them on. Let's see. Let's see who this is. That's our controller. See, that's the other controller, and let's set this to trigger, and let's try it again. Yeah, there's some issues with it, but I don't know if it's because of my connection or anything else. Well, at least it seems a little bit better now. Yeah, okay, this is possible at some levels. I don't know why it's jumping. I think it might be because we might have some other. No, I don't see anything else. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, this is how we also sync vaulting. Well, at least that's the idea of it. Okay, so let's finish with this part. It does need a lot of improvement, of course, but it's good enough for now. So, as always, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and if you like to see more stuff like this, then consider supporting me on Patreon so we can keep making all of these nice things. I'll see you next time.